Hello, K3SB fam, Miraculers, and beyond. Today, we've got a very exclusive interview with a very special guest. He is the voiceover director for one of the most popular shows of our generation airing right now, Miraculous Ladybug, and is a world-famous voice actor himself. So please help me in welcoming the one, the only, Ezra Weisz! Thank you so much for joining us today, Ezra.
Thank you, K3SB fam, and thank you, sisters, all three.
Yes, this is such a pleasure and an honor to be talking to you, and we're so excited.
I am feeling it's very mutual. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that we have finally connected. I'm excited by all of your miraculous content that you have been dropping lately. It's just an exciting time, and I'm glad we were able to have our planets collide.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Likewise, totally. Okay, so Ezra, you are the voiceover director for the world-famous show Miraculous Ladybug, but you are also a voice actor in the show. Can you tell us all of the characters that you voice in the show and for how long? And I already see your shirt, so I know that is
I'm
one.
the voice of Adrian's bodyguard. A lot of Miraculers affectionately refer to him as Gorilla.
Yes.
Sometimes in the script, it refers to him as Gorilla.
Oh, nice.
And of course, his episode where he was akumatized, he became Gorizilla. So it just, either it's a nickname that has stuck, and I think maybe it stuck because of the fans calling him Gorilla, because he's all like, he doesn't really have dialogue at all. He just sort of grunts and has a really pronounced forehead. But I like to humanize him even more. I secretly call him Maurice.
Aww, I love
And
that name. That's a French name.
So like everybody can say, he's Adrian's bodyguard, which is just sort of generic, or Gorilla, which is kind of a nickname based on his appearance. But whenever I play any of the characters, if it's a voiceover character or someone on stage, I want to make sure that I humanize them as much as possible. So in my heart and mind, I refer to him as Maurice. But of course, I'm waiting for a script to come out, and then we find out what his real name is. I also firmly believe, K3 sisters, that he is one of the most loving characters in the entire series.
We totally
We'd have to agree.
Right? Like, he loves Adrian so much, and he's always there to protect him and to watch out, even though he has to follow, all of the guidelines and instructions that he gets from his boss, Gabriel Agreste, and his assistant, Natalie Sancour. Like, he's always doing what he can to watch out for. All right, so anyway, yes, I voice Maurice, the bodyguard. I also voice a character who was akumatized into Simon Says. I know, I love.
This is
This man, you mean?
Yeah,
Simon
that's the one.
Says?
Yes. Now, how come you have a sign that says Simon Says?
This was in our song Miraculous Ladybug in 99 Seconds. This was one of the akumatized villains that we decided to put into the song because we love him so much.
Thank you.
Yes, he's one of our favorite akumatized people.
You are now a beautiful butterfly. Yes, it would be.
I love it.
I'm fangirling so hard right now.
Yes, and I also voice Milen's father, Fred Harprell, who became the mime. And that episode was fairly significant because in that episode, we see how Marinette has designed the chapeau or the hat for Adrian for the fashion show. So that was a very special one. I also voice a very sweet Parisian who roams around with an ice cream cart where he likes to make sweetheart ice creams, where he pairs the color of one person and the other color of another person and the flavors to make the sweetheart's ice cream treat. And his name is Andre, or Andre Glacier, or Glaciator. He is the sweetheart's matchmaker. With one scoop or two, I'll find love for you with magical ice cream flavors. So that's all.
Round of applause, guys.
And might I say, I loved your work in the recent Wishmaker episode with Andre. His part was so vital in that
Yes,
episode,
his backstory.
and that almost made me cry when he was
So
talking about
sweet.
a job versus a career.
Right. Something that really satisfies his life. And the funny thing is that episode had so much dialogue. And I had to say his monologue so quickly when we were talking about his backstory and trying to do it with that sort of fusion of Italian and Parisian accent that I've just sort of mashed together for Andre. Was
Right.
very difficult. I mean, it was really hard to like get it all out with a little extra syllable here and there. A marinetta, here I have this. You know, it's just, and I have to be careful that it doesn't turn into Dracula in Transylvania.
Right,
Well, you truly did do a great job. Now, Ezra, rumor has it that you are back in the recording studio for Miraculous Ladybug. So, what's up with that? And can you please share any details with us and all of the fellow Miraculers watching?
Oh boy, you really put me on the spot here. All right, I will address
course,
some.
of
I will
course, Ezra.
address some of that. I will address some of that. Yes, I am back in the studio, and we are now at the tail end of season 4. So we've done the majority of season 4, a lot of which the Miraculers around the world have already seen. Some of them debut in Brazil on Globe TV, some of them debut in France, some of them debut in Germany, and then of course some of them debut here in North America, where we get to watch them in English first. I know Miraculous go crazy sometimes because it'll debut in another language, and then, you know, Miraculous in
Yes.
different territories are like, no, I don't want the spoilers, but then they get so thirsty for it that they just can't help but watch it. But there are some Miraculous that hold true, and they're like, no spoilers, until they want to see it themselves. So
Yes.
I am back in the studio. I will say this. You mentioned Wishmaker, which has already aired, so we can talk about Wishmaker. All right.
Yes.
So we
Okay.
saw some of the backstory with Wishmaker. We saw how Mr. Banana, who wished he was a cucumber, which I voice, is having a great time in his fantasy life. I also loved how the character Alex wanted so badly to be completely expressing himself exactly how he wants to express himself, with makeup, with flamboyant clothing, with beautiful wigs. It was just such a heartwarming, wonderful episode. And the rest of the season that will be coming out, every single episode gets better and better. There is a lot of attention on this one episode that is titled Gabriel Aggressed.
Oh my God!
Now, I will tell you this.
Wishmaker-
In Gabriel Aggressed, the animation and the storytelling takes it to a brand new level, and you must really carefully watch that episode. And I'm not talking about because of plot points. Obviously, you're going to watch it because of plot points, but I want you to pay very close attention to what the animators did with the animation, the style, and also the playfulness. That's all I can tell you about that. Now, if
Oh
you
my gosh.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
Wishmaker was our favorite episode of season 4 so far, so I can only imagine
I know.
how intense this episode, Gabriel Aggressed, is going to be. I am so stoked.
you
Ezra,
have
you've got
no
all
idea.
the Miraculers freaking out right now. I can
Yes.
just hear them screaming through the screens. Yes.
Here's the thing. I am right there with them. Okay, so just to let all of your followers know, the amazing artistic team, the development team, Thomas Astruck, who is the animation director, the story writers, they do such an amazing job with elevating and moving this entire world of Ladybug and Cat Noir and Adrian and Marinette and all of the superheroes and friends that are within their orbit, moving it further and further along, where it makes us like freak out whenever a new episode comes out. I feel the same way. When I get to work on the episode, it's almost all the way finished. There's a French track, so we can kind of hear some of the performance that's going on. And I watch the episode first before I direct any of the English voice actors. And I'm like, you guys are going to freak out when we record this. And when we work with Christina, who's the voice of Marinette and Ladybug, she is like, ah! Like sometimes we want to just keep the microphone hot while she previews the scene, because sometimes she'll go, oh, Ezra, no, oh, Ezra, like all that kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, I know, Christina. Or Keith also. Keith Silverstein, who is the voice of Gabriel Agreste in Hawkmoth. He also, by the way, is the voice of Prince Ali, which is a much different voice than Gabriel Agreste in Hawkmoth.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
I know.
Wow,
I am dropping you some of the serious BTS knowledge here, but only for you, because that amazing Miraculous in 99 seconds, you guys, amazing. So impressed.
Thank you so much.
So
it
impressed.
was a lot of fun to film that and to just draw the signs, because like you were saying earlier, the detail of the colors, the character design, we specifically, put the colors into making the signs. So we were like, wow, I didn't notice all this before.
I know.
Right.
The character designs are amazing.
Well, I will let you know how I have been fanboying. I've watched one of your YouTube videos and I saw how you made a slight little error when you wrote a lonely girl with a lonely life, and you made a little flip-flop where it was lonely. And I'm going to tell you that you are not alone. I have done the exact same thing with so many words like that, where I'm in the middle of doing an art project and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't write lonely, I wrote lonely. How did I? Why did I?
Yeah, in the voice sign.
A lonely boy. Oh, a lonely boy in the spot. A lonely in the spotlight. That's right. There it is.
Yeah, I was doing this one late at night, and I just didn't notice the two flip-flop of those letters.
Yeah, I would have done it completely awake with a large cup of coffee, like fully alert, and I still would have flopped those letters.
Oh my
It's
goodness,
crazy.
by the way, Ezra, speaking of new Miraculous content, do you have any information or have heard any rumors as to when the new movie titled Ladybug and Cat Noir Awakening might be coming out? Or as Alia would say, do you have the scoop? Can you tell us, Ezra?
Well, lady bloggers, I will say this. I have been working as a very, very quiet mouse in the corner while Jeremy has been directing that project. And when I tell you that he is an absolute perfectionist, and I don't mean that he wants it perfect, I mean he wants it perfect for the fans. He wants this to be, he's so invested in the storytelling and the emotion. He wants it to be filled with so much emotion. And my understanding is that the primary recording is complete.
Awesome. And we know that there's a lot of more musical and songs involved in this, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, there's a lot, and the songs are lush and emotional. The songs have beautiful composition to it. I think it's going to be like a soundtrack of music.
Right,
I think
as singer-songwriters, that is something so exciting for us. We cannot wait.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be the kind of soundtrack that a lot of Miraculous content creators are going to use as backdrop. Because right now, like if you go on certain social media platforms, there's just a couple select songs that you can use. Theme songs from different territories and different languages, and then also just instrumental pieces.
Right, and the Christmas special.
Yes,
and the Christmas
that was
special,
musical
right.
as well, I think.
Okay, let me tell you something. The level that we have for the Awakenings movie is on the scale of, massive orchestration. versus what we had for the Christmas episode, which was, oh my goodness, there is a fan base out there that loves this show. Let's make a Christmas special. Not quickly. I mean, it definitely took a lot of time to make the Christmas special, but it was, we're just doing a Christmas special for the show. This is massive, major. I mean, if you see any of the clips that Jeremy shares, the animation is unbelievably beautiful. It's so gorgeous. So everything, like from that one, like a screenshot that we see or a still from the movie, you can definitely be certain that every aspect of this film will have that level of detail and intensity and artistry attached to it. Music, landscape, storytelling, vocal performance, everything.
Wow.
It's going to be
By the
beautiful.
way, how is Jeremy doing? I hope he's not stressing himself out over all these projects he's doing, outside the world of Miraculous too.
Well, Jeremy is incredibly busy, and he is a dedicated family man. He is a dedicated man to his community. He is an amazing person to work for. He's always got great ideas. He also has the entire Zag Heroes platform that he is working on, where you have Zach Storm, and you have Power Players, and you have Ghost Force, which is beautiful. And of course, you have Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. And then there's other series that are coming out as well. So he's always working. And then there's the merchandising, and then there's the licensing. And, his empire is definitely growing. I wouldn't be surprised if in one day Jeremy opens up a massive style theme park or experience location.
Yes, I think he's actually talked about that on his Instagram. I think that's actually happening. I hope it does.
I hope it does too. I mean, how much fun would it be for Miraculous to walk into a land that is Ladybug and Cat Noir?
So much fun. Okay, so Ezra, like we said earlier, you are the English dub director for Miraculous Ladybug. Now, for everyone watching who may not know, what exactly is an English dub director and what is it like?
What a great question. It is like the greatest thing ever, if that's the kind of work you like to do. It is it's like a director would be for a play or for a film, where you are working one-on-one with the actors, their script, the image. We already have an image, so they're already able to look at something. And, when you're starting off a project, no one really knows what's going on. So it's a little bit of my job to do some research and figure out more and more so that I can tell the actors more specifically what's going on. For instance, hey, Christina, Marinette is a little bit clumsy. She's very, very goofy. She gets tongue twisted when she's around this guy that she finds really super cute. Oh, okay. And why is that? Well, because, she's a teenager in high school, and now she's really finding somebody attractive when they were all just friends before, but now she has a different source of feelings now. She's like, Christina's like, I remember what that was like when I was in high school. So she tries and very successfully, she brings up those emotions and puts herself back there. I said, but wait a minute, there's also something else. Now that you're Ladybug, she must come across as confident. She must come across as heroic. She doesn't have time to really entertain the flirtation that she's receiving from her partner, Cat Noir. So we got to make sure that your tone when you are Ladybug is confident and heroic and focused and direct. You got it, right? So we work like that. And that's what happened a lot in the beginning. But now, season 4, we're over 100 episodes later. I basically tell them, all right, well, in this episode, this person is going to get akumatized. Or in this episode, this family member comes back to visit. Or in this episode, we now finally learn more about Luka's family and Julika and their parents. And that's a series of who will be getting akumatized. Or this is what a Centimonster is, or what an Amok does, right? All of those things. And they're like, oh, okay. So that when they deliver that, they have an understanding where it makes sense in their world. So I do a little bit of research. I tell them a little bit about what's going to happen. And then it really comes down to nuts and bolts. All right, so now we record a take, we do a rehearsal, and then we do another version of it. Sometimes we'll make some adjustments. Sometimes the dialogue has so many words in their lines that we're like, all right, let's make a contraction so that you can act more and not just talk so fast like you would at the end of a commercial that has like all of the legal disclaimer stuff, right?
Right.
So we're like, hold
That's
on.
a pet peeve
We
of
want it
mine.
to, right, we always want it to feel like it's Marinette or it's Adrian, like, or even Hawkmoth. He has a lot to say sometimes. Like it's really them feeling their words. So sometimes yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, as Miraculers and people who love the show, we just want to say a big thank you to you for all the work you do that does not go noticed to everyone. So thank you so much. I love everything you guys do.
Yeah.
Thank you. We honestly, we love everything that we do too. A lot of what has lifted everybody's spirits in the cast is the fandom. It's just knowing that we are creating something that the fans of the show are going to enjoy. And
Yes, that's very important when creating things, you know.
And we know as well that the Miraculous Ladybug fandom is kind of unlike any other.
Yeah.
It's international. It's so accepting and welcoming, and that's why another main reason we wanted to do our song Miraculous Ladybug in 99 Seconds, because we wanted to share the love and hopefully get a big reach. And thanks to you and Jeremy Zag for sharing it on your Insta story. We got an even bigger reach than we could have ever dreamed for. So we want to thank you again so much for that.
It was a huge honor.
Well, the morning that you released your video, I was tagged on my TikTok account. And I look at stuff all the time. I look at all of the content that I'm able, if someone tags me in something, I go and look at it. And if it's something that I feel is appropriate to share with my followers, then I'll either duet it or I'll find some way to share it. And I was tagged immediately once you dropped your video. You had, at the time, it was, I think, less than 400 views.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so it was early in the morning, and I'm on a different time zone than you are when you dropped it. And so I opened up, I'm having my breakfast, and I opened up TikTok, and I look under notifications, and I like to see, what the comments are. And then I like to see who's tagging me in a video, bringing my attention to it. And it's always Miraculous content. So I saw your video, and I was like, first of all, such beautiful harmonies, a wonderful a cappella arrangement, so smart, concise, and it's very much of an earworm, like it gets stuck. I go for long runs, and later that day, I just had a normal girl with a normal life. I mean, just stuck. And the other part, just to let you know, is when you say they're Kwamis, I'm like, that's in there. Like, it's deep in the brain. I can't pull it out, and I don't want to. And then what happened?
Oh my God.
And then I reached out to you, and I said, oh my goodness, this, or at least your account, I didn't know if it was your parents, or if it was your manager, or if it was you directly. And I'm like, this is amazing. I'm sorry I can't share it, or else I would just duet it and blast it out. But then I just did what I could and shared it on Instagram and told people to follow your account. And the Miraculous account looks at my account often because they know that I'm looking at everybody else's account. So it's almost like a hub. Like, they'll go and check me out and be like, what's Ezra looking at? And then they'll go, and then they found you. And I think then they were like, Jeremy needs to know about this. And then I messaged you later that day, and I was like, I can't believe it. Jeremy just shared you guys on his story, which he never, ever does. So, I mean, it's music. It was so perfect. And then I just saw, like, the millions of views start to rack up. So I was so proud and happy for you.
Yeah, we've gotten intel that it's moving really fast on our Instagram Reels, which is really cool, and on Facebook, yes. Yeah. So we're really excited about that.
Very, very well deserved. And the thing is about the Miraculous, the Miraculers, right? The Miraculous Ladybug community that you talk about. they are proud of you and they want to lift you up and expose you and share you. Nobody is like, oh, those K3 girls. Ugh. I don't want them to put out great content. Forget it. No, they're like, look at this great content, and then they share it on their account. I always see Miraculous accounts sharing other accounts, like, oh, you must follow them. Oh, they're new. Oh, they need more love. Give them some more attention. And, you know, I don't know where your Miraculous following was, but it is true to my heart that as many of them find your account, because I know they're going to love what you put out there.
The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Miraculous. I know that season 4 has been a roller coaster of emotions. I warned you about this.
They meet their Kwamis, taking back in battle so hard. Who was akumatized by Hawk Moth, who secretly is Adrian's father, Gabriel aggressed Paris, the city of Noir.